Hi Cindy, I just wanted to let you know that I received your email and I thought that it might be quickest and easiest to demonstrate the grading and weighting of grades by doing a video really quickly for you. So what I've done is I've gone into an old Blackboard shell of mine, so it wouldn't matter that I'm messing with it a little bit, and I created some columns really quickly just to kind of replicate some of the columns you might have. Whenever you do weighting like this, the best bet is to have your columns set with each assignment being worth 100%. It just makes the math work out easier. So if you need to change these to percentages, you can go in and edit the column information and set these points possible to 100% and set it to percentages. Just works out a little bit easier that way. And then click submit. So one of the first things that I do is I create average columns because it's much easier to work with averages when you go in to set your weighting. So I go up to create a calculated column and I click on average column. So the average column name for you, I might say, I might call it exam averages. Set the primary display as percentages, and then you can leave all of the other defaults the way that they are, but click on selected columns and categories, and then you can pick and choose which assignments that you want. So if you hold down the control button, and well, first let me tell you that there's going to be a lot of assignments in here because I've got old stuff. So I'm just going to go down to the ones I created. So I'm going to hold the control button and just click on the ones that I want to move over. So those would be all of the quizzes, and then click move them over. Now, if you don't want to click control, you can send them over individually. That doesn't really matter. And once you have everything you need for that column, you hit submit. And then it created the new column for you. So then I would go in and make another average column, and I would call this whatever, in class or group work, whatever you wanted to name it. If you wanted to put a description, you could. And then click on selected columns again. And then I would find all of the in-class work that you wanted to be part of this column. And notice that when I'm doing this, I'm setting it into categories so that we can weight it later. And then I would hit submit. And then the last average column that I would have for you would be, I think you've got your discussion board average. And select columns and or categories. And then I just threw in a couple of discussion boards for demonstration and move them over and click submit. So notice that now I have the exam average, your in-class average, your discussion board average, and then you have your final exam, which we don't need to create an average column for because it kind of stands alone. So the last thing that you need to do once you have your average columns is then you go into create a weighted column. Name the give the column a name. So overall weighted grade. Okay, and so be sure to point this out to students that this is their weighted grade. Regardless of how many 100% they see in there, everything has a different weight, so this one should stand. Then I would type exams 30% in class, and then your groups, I think it was, is 20%. Then your discussion boards, I think you had that set at 10%. And then your final exam must be whatever is different. So 30, 40, 50, 60, this would be 40%. or however you wanted to set it up. So keep the primary display as a percentage. And if you wanted to set the secondary display so they could see their letter grade, you could go to the health science grading scale, and that would show them the correct letter grade. So once you're there, the only things you need to worry about are clicking your final exam and hold Control down, click the exam averages, the in-class averages, discussion board, and move them over. See, notice that when you move them over, it gives you the ability to set how much weight you wanted to give them. So the final would be 40, your exam averages are 30, the in-class is 20, and your discussion boards are 10. And take a last look, and it equals 100%, so we're good. Keep this as a yes. That's the default setting. And what this means is that every time you input a grade, it will give you a real-time calculation based on the work that they have done thus far. So if all they've done are a few homework assignments and they got 100% on every assignment, then they're still getting an A. But let's say that they really bombed a quiz, that might pull them right down to a C just from that one quiz assignment. So they'll be able to see in real time what they've done, how well they're doing in the class. So I always tell my students, go into Blackboard frequently and look at this overall weighted column to make sure that you are passing the class, because they need a 78% to get through. I leave all the default options alone, and then I hit submit. Okay, so your final is your overall weighted. So I'm just going to test it out here just to show you. We'll use this student here. Oop, did I forget the MedCom? I think I forgot the MedCom category, but you see it's the same basic thing that you would want to put the MedCom in there. Actually, I'll just do create a calculated column. MedCom averages. So that way you could see how quickly it is that we can fix things if we make a mistake. So then I've got MedCom 1, MedCom 2, and move them over, submit. Then, since I made a mistake, I'm going to go to the overall weighted, and I'm going to edit the column information. Let me see what you set for your MedCom. MedCom was 10 and the final was 30. Okay. I have been corrected. So 30. Videos 10%. So from there, I can just take the MedCom averages, move it over, assign that 10%. Notice that it's now 110%, and that's because I have to fix that's because I had to fix the exam. So now we're back to 100. And submit. Okay. Now I'm good, and I can test this for you. So let's say that I started with quiz 1 here. Let's say I gave the student an 85 for quiz 1. Notice that it calculates the overall weighted grade based on what I've done so far, and it gives the percentage that goes with it. So if I do 100 in my in-class for that one, whoops, 100 for my in-class in that one. Student didn't do her MedCom video for that, but she did do this MedCom video. Quiz 2, maybe she got, let's give her an 81. Quiz 3, maybe she did not so great, gave her a 69. And notice that when I do that, the grade is being calculated accordingly. So if she has 100% in this discussion board, Notice the grade changed. 100% for that discussion board. Oops. The grade changed there. Final exam, let's say she got an 80%. And then this would be her overall weighted grade at the end of the course. So I hope that this helps to kind of understand how to set up the average columns and then how to take those averages and set up a weighted column a little bit better. If you have any other questions, please be sure that you let me know. Talk to you soon. Thank you.